Hi everyone and welcome back to Chapter 18, A Parting of Ways. We're back to Edinburgh and it's May 1890 now. Raindrops the size of marbles pelted the fine oak coffin as it was lowered into the soil on an unseasonably cold Edinburgh spring day. News of Birdie's passing had taken flight, crossing oceans and continents, and many of the entertainers with whom she had worked over the years had come to pay their respects, shivering together beneath a canopy of black umbrellas. Lucy and Silver stood near the mouth of the grave and listened as the minister delivered Birdie's eulogy. Vindictus Sharp stood at Lucian's side, tall and dark and silent as a shadow. Neither acknowledged the presence of the other. When the funeral was over, mourners began to filter away towards the shelter of waiting carriages. Lucian stayed by the graveside while Sharp shook hands and exchanged brief words with a number of guests. When the last of the mourners was gone, he walked back up the hill. They stood in silence for a time. Sharp turned his head, though not enough to make eye contact. "Your services are no longer required," he said, flexing the fingers of a gloved hand. "This experiment has run its course. Teaching is not for me. I imagine this does not come as a shock to you." Lucian said nothing. "You'll be sent your portion of last night's takings, of course." "I don't want it," Lucian said. "Last night's performance was for Birdie." Sharp gave a single nod. "Very well." He turned and began to walk back down the hill. Lucian gazed after him. "I can't help that I'm better than you," he said. "I only ever did what you asked, and I was good at my job. You turned it into a competition, not me." He had uttered the words in barely more than a whisper, but in the silence of a graveyard, even soft-spoken words can become immensely powerful things. Sharp stopped. He did not turn around. "You are not better than me," he said. There was an edge to his voice, dark and dangerous. "You will never be better than me. I rescued you from the gutter, and that is where I expect you to return, now that you don't have my coattails to ride upon." Lucian glared. "Must be strange for you being in a graveyard, considering you don't ever intend to die. I've always been too afraid to ask why you never get any older, but I think I might be piecing it together. You steal time from other people, don't you? You make their lives shorter so that you can extend your own. How can you live with yourself?" A long silence. At last, his back still turned, Sharp said, "Goodbye, Mr. Silver. Good luck." Lucian watched his former employer wind down the path towards the comfort of his carriage. When the slick black horses had pulled Sharp through the iron gates, it occurred to Lucian that a very long and interesting chapter of his life had come to an end. He turned his attention once more to the fresh grave at his feet. Reaching into his coat, he produced a single long-stemmed rose. With the wave of a hand, the stem of the rose became as black as coal, and the petals were coated in shining gold. Lucian placed the black gold rose on the headstone. "Goodbye, Birdie." Rain washed the tears from his face as he trudged down the hill towards the gates and the world beyond. And the world was a big, big place. Lucian did not know where to go or what to do next. His fingers touched the book in his coat pocket, its pages full of dreams, imaginings and possibilities, and somehow he did not feel quite so lost. Without knowing why, he began to smile. Then, with a final glance to the top of the hill, Lucian Silver walked through the cemetery gates and away. See you next time.